Welcome to Swoop Podcast, and here are your hosts, Dante Fantuzzi and Josh Sanchez.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Swoop Podcast. It's your guest for the night, Dante Fantuzzi. I'm here for my partner,
Josh Sanchez.
And it has been about a little bit over a week since we've done our last show. We're back again tonight. We're going to hit it hard, and we got some interesting topics for you guys to listen to. Josh, how do you feel about week 1 and week 2 of the NFL that just passed?
How I feel about week 1 and week 2, obviously week 1, the Chiefs have been one of the standout teams so far. They beat a very tough New England Patriots team in Foxborough. I believe the Patriots are now over 150-3 against at home. That was the record at home coming in. So the Chiefs, they came to New England, upset New England, and also they played a very good Philadelphia Eagles team. And I'm not saying that to be biased, but I feel like the Philadelphia Eagles are the team to beat in the NFC East as of now. The Cowboys' defense looks like they lost some guys. They have a bunch of young guys in the secondary.
Well, I mean, what we've seen this even last season. That secondary is horrible.
Yes,
the front seven doesn't. I mean, the front seven isn't bad. They just don't offer as much to help that secondary. That's just my point. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree.
And then
with
that
your
whole
opinion.
secondary is just absolutely young.
Yeah, you also got Nolan Carroll as your free agent addition. We Eagles fans know how bad he was. So
yeah, so that's
just a summary of what they added on defense. They really didn't add anybody on defense. In my opinion, I feel like they got weaker in the secondary. They lost some guys. They have some young rookies in there, but again, they're rookies. It takes time. But the Giants, they can't protect Eli Manning at all. They probably look the worst out of all 4 teams in the division right now. And I'm not saying that because, again, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm just saying, based off of what I've seen the first 2 weeks, Eli Manning barely has any time. And if the Giants want to make a statement, they have to beat Philly this week. If Philadelphia does the same thing as the Lions and the Cowboys did weeks 1 and 2, then the Giants, you might as well just say goodbye to the 2017 season.
right.
Because it's going to be a long season for you guys.
Absolutely agree.
The Redskins, surprisingly, they look pretty good the
Whoa.
first 2 weeks. I mean, the Eagles game, I feel like the Eagles game, they were just missing. You can tell they missed Deshaun Jackson and whoever they missed.
This is Pierre Garçon, but this is a completely different offense now.
I know, I still have them, though, ahead of the Giants right now. They look better than the Giants.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, listen, the thing with the Giants is they can't protect Eli Manning, and we just see a glimpse of what it's like without Odell Beckham.
Yes.
Without Odell, there's no they. What did he have? 200
even with Odell Beckham, because he played week 2.
Yeah, you're right. But was he a healthy 100%?
No, he wasn't fully healthy, but again,
I mean, there's a difference. I mean, there's
left
can't
tackle.
you? Yeah,
Flowers,
you're right. But
he should be already.
you're right. But there's a big difference between whether because this is the same thing that happened last year. The Giants haven't had a good offensive line in years to come, but they went 11-5 last year with a healthy Odell.
Their defense is keeping them in the game, but it's all about psychology and what happens. As a defense, you continue to stop your opponent all game, and then you see your offense come out and do absolutely nothing. That makes you feel like crap. That makes you lose confidence in your offense, and that's not a good position to be. Like you saw with the Texans when they played the Bengals, they were stopping the Bengals the whole time. Deshaun Watson made that one play. And once he scored that one touchdown, the whole defense got excited. They fed off of that touchdown, and guess what? They shut down Dalton the rest of the game. I don't see that.
Well,
in
the last
Giants
2 weeks, it hasn't been hard to shut them down at all. The last 2 weeks, the Bengals' offense has been completely garbage.
You can also talk about that, but you also got to give credit where credit's due. The Ravens' defense has been stellar this year.
You do give credit when credit's due.
The Texans.
But that whole Cincinnati Bengals offense just has not been the offense that we've seen, and we have not seen that that connection and bond between Andy Dalton and AJ Green.
There's no connection with any of his wide receivers.
At all.
Eifert, you add Joe Mixon,
and now Eifert's hurt.
Yeah, Eifert's hurt. There should be absolute no excuse as to why your offense has not scored a touchdown yet. You have the pieces, and to me, it's just a coaching. They already fired their offensive coordinator, but I think they need to get away with their head coach. It's time for a change.
So you're talking about firing Marvin Lewis?
Yes, you got to fire Marvin Lewis. He hasn't won a playoff game. He's just been there too long, and they're not going anywhere. There's no direction.
So just blow up the whole thing?
Yes, I think it's time to just blow up the whole thing in Cincinnati. It's not working. So when I see the Cincinnati Bengals, I see more of like the Clippers, like. I
see what you're saying.
Like they're good enough. They're good enough to be above 500.
Mm-hmm.
When they make the playoffs, they lose first round.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for a change. It's time to just reboot. Don't blame it on your offensive coordinator. Blame it on the head coach. He's also the same guy that hasn't won you a playoff game. And there comes a point when enough's enough. It's time for a change. And I believe the Bengals look like the worst team out of all the teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I even put the Browns ahead of them. Just because I expect more from the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm. What about the Jets?
The Jets, they look bad too. They look like complete garbage. But their offense is scoring more points than the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I look at it as. You go through 2 weeks, you have A.J. Green, you have Tyler Eifert, you have Joe Mixon, you have Giovanni Bernard, I believe you have Hill as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't even score a touchdown in 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
And you were home against the Houston Texans with a rookie quarterback and no tight ends. Like, think about that. Deshaun Watson made his first start. All 3 tight ends in that depth chart were out. So that's why I think that touched, like, back to my point about the defenses. Like, you saw how J.J. Watt and them all got excited when he scored that touchdown. That's the problem the Giants defense is having right now. Like, they're coming in, they're stopping the opponent. They held the Lions to 24 points.
Mm-hmm.
Week 1, they held Dallas to only 19. That should be enough to get you at least one win right there. But when the other side of the ball is not doing good, you lose confidence in yourself. They're like, once we give up a touchdown, this game's over. Offense isn't going to score any points. So that just puts more pressure on that defense. So I just want you to think about it that way. Like, the other side of the perspective. Because I used to play defense. And
I completely get what you're saying. You got to give credit when it's due, but sometimes, I mean, and I'm going back to the Odell situation because all of this was just led up to the main point of the New York Giants. But, I mean, at the same time, though, like I said earlier, your superstar receiver, who's arguably a top 2 receiver in this league, isn't healthy and can't produce. Pretty much that game against the Lions, he was just used as a decoy.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, he did have 4 catches for 36 yards, but he was pretty much used as a decoy. Because in the back of your head, even though Odell isn't healthy, you still got a counter. He in the snap of an eye, he can change the whole game around.
Yes, I completely agree with your statement.
Now,
but I'm not going to make that excuse for them because you got Brandon Marshall in the free agency. You got that rookie tight end that pretty much is a wide receiver. I was watching how he was running his routes.
Now I get what you're saying, but what can you do when there's no connection between your quarterback and receiver? There's no connection or chemistry between these two players of Eli Manning and Brandon Marshall yet. There's no chemistry there.
I know.
They're still trying to get a feel for each other.
That just makes the Giants one of the worst teams in football right now. They're one of the. Right now, I had them in the bottom of the division, and rightly so, because you have the pieces on offense. There should be a connection. You had months to work together, and you come out in the beginning of the season and just look like that. Like, the only reason why they're not getting blown out of games is because their defense is very strong, and they're keeping them in the game. But again, you have no line to protect, and again, that comes to management. That comes to the general manager as well as some coaching too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, usually when your line's struggling, you should have a running back or have a tight end chip the ends and make it easier for your offensive tackles to block. I know it's easier said than done, but little things like that help. And you have a guy like Brandon Marshall that should be getting more than 1 catch a game. Yeah, 1 catch for 10 yards week 1 and 1 catch for 17 yards in week 2. He also had some drops on him as well. So, as much as people blame Eli Manning, it's just the whole team, the whole offense. They need to hit that reset button fast because If they can't block like the Detroit Lions line, they're pretty good, but this Eagles defensive line is going to have a field day if they don't find a way to chip the ends or find something. Because
I completely agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But that's just how I see it with the New York Giants right now. On paper, they look absolutely, they look good on paper, and you can say this about any team.
Yeah,
they look good on paper. It's just what can they do on the field. And
I completely agree.
Even if the Eagles do win Sunday, I'm still not ruling out the Giants. I'm still not going to rule them out.
I won't rule them out, but if they lose week 3, it's going to be very hard coming back.
Oh yeah, it is very difficult to come back. Very difficult.
Only because you have, I feel like they can go ahead of the Redskins, but as of right now, through the first 2 weeks, the Redskins.
The Giants are the worst team in the NFC
Yes,
East.
the Giants are the worst
throughout
team
the first
in the
2
NFC
weeks.
East. And right now I put the Giants in the conversations of the Jets and the Browns right now. As of right now. On paper, clearly there's no comparison. But based off of performance right now, it's been pretty bad.
Completely agree.
Just like they're like the Bengals of the NFC right now.
Completely agree. Now, we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to keep it the football topic, but we are going to switch it up real quick. So me and Josh have decided to come up with a topic. We have to pick one college football standout player. It can be any position, any player. We have to take one. And Josh, before you, I don't know what you're doing over there just yet, but I'm going to give my college football standout. He's a quarterback. I have to go with the California kid and Sam Darnold, quarterback for USC. This kid just makes throws that you really don't like. Professional athlete, professional quarterback throws. He makes them. And his decision making. Now, this is the problem with every young quarterback, their decision making. And you could tell as a young quarterback, he still has that problem. Trying to make forced throws in the tight windows. It can be done, but the decision making to do it, all right, in a predicament, let's say if you have an open a receiver down the field, and he's double coverage, and you have a flat, you're running back in the flat. Sometimes the decision making, if you're a good quarterback, your decision making might not always be there. Now the point I'm trying to make is that I wouldn't be surprised with his decision making. He's gonna try and make that throw down the field. Now that's what I mean by decision making.
He likes to push the ball.
Yes,
take chances.
Yes, but these chances are very limited to be successful.
Okay.
So the decision making isn't really all there for him. But the kid is big, strong. His deep ball accuracy, his short ball accuracy, his medium ball accuracy is there. He's a leader. He's a true leader on the field. It might not show in his interception touchdown ratio, but he definitely has it. And if I'm going to compare him to anyone in the NFL, I just have to compare him to Matt Stafford.
That's a good comparison.
I really like this kid. If our fans or anybody doesn't really watch college football, sit down and watch USC. Sit down and watch what this kid has.
They are currently ranked 4th in the nation.
Yes, they are.
And I know Clemson went up to 2 this week, and rightly so. They deserved it after what they did to Lamar Jackson in Louisville that I will talk about in 5 minutes. But anyway, my guy is Oklahoma quarterback Baker Mayfield, and here's why.
Totally love this kid, too.
This guy's he had a lot of pressure coming into the season. You can tell ever since April, off season, he circled that Ohio State game. It was played in Ohio State. Mayfield
took that game personal
and played phenomenally, going 27 of 35, 386 yards. That's a 77% completion percentage. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He still has not thrown an interception yet in this season. Hopefully I don't jinx him. But that game against Ohio State, it took him some time, but finally in that fourth quarter, the second half, he used his strength, he used his running ability, he used his complete package, and he, in my opinion, led Oklahoma to an upset in Ohio State. I know Ohio State's offense looked flat, but I don't care. Baker Mayfield had a lot of pressure coming into that game, and he had the most to prove in that game. And he showed that he can be an early first-round draft pick in that game.
Oh, of course.
Now it's just up
Him
for him
and
to
Sam
continue
Darnold.
that for the rest of the season.
I believe him and Sam Darnold will be playing on Sundays.
Of course.
If they both declare for the draft this upcoming season, both of these players, mark my words. I don't know if Josh agrees with me. And if he does, I'm going to say mark our words. These two quarterbacks will be playing on Sundays next season.
The Jets, if I'm a Jets fan, I hope we go 0-16 and take this kid. Mayfield, whoever you want.
Mayfield,
because the Jets,
or Darnold, and
what was the last time the Jets had an elite quarterback? And actually made some noise. It's been. I understand.
I know they had Mark Sanchez for 2 years.
They had Mark Sanchez.
That
but
didn't
really
turn
elite?
out very well. The 2 years he played, he showed eliteness.
Yes,
Those 2 years that they had that run. But besides that, You
got to go way back in history.
I don't really recall the last elite quarterback they had.
I know they had Pennington, but was he anything spectacular? He was decent. Nothing.
I think we were young.
We're
going to have to do research on that if we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
That's something we're going to have to do research
let me get back to Clemson real quick before we move on. A lot of people had Clemson losing and not making the college playoff, which is rightfully so. You lose Deshaun Watson. You lose your starting running back. You lose Mike Williams. Those guys combined for over 7,000 yards. So you lose over 7,000 yards of offense. But another quarterback that's been very impressive is, I can't pronounce his first name, but Bryant from Clemson has been very impressive as well. He's able to use his legs a lot. His arm isn't quite there yet as the level as Deshaun Watson's, deep ball-wise. But the way how he can run and just lower his shoulder pad and get in the end zone. And, again, they come into Louisville, and a lot of people had Lamar Jackson, a lot of people on Lamar Jackson's bandwagon, had them beating Clemson in that game. Clemson came into Louisville and just dominated throughout the first 3 quarters, and the fourth quarter was just garbage time. Lamar Jackson, you pull up his stats, it still said he threw over 300 yards and had over 100 rushing yards, but he only had a little bit over 100 passing yards going into the fourth quarter. The Clemson, they put their bench players in the fourth quarter, and he connected with a couple 80 yards. So don't let the stats prove you wrong. So I just wanted to make that quick note real quick. I believe Clemson is a playoff team this year because, again, they have the defense and they have the coaching, and I just think it could be another Alabama-Clemson three-peat, but it's going to take a lot because Clemson takes on a very tough Virginia Tech team later in the year, and and Florida State. So we'll see.
Now, since you just hopped on brought Clemson all up, now I feel no other choice but to have to bring up my Georgia Bulldogs.
Okay, yeah, they beat Notre Dame.
Beat Notre Dame, but I feel like our real first test of the season is going to come up this week against Michigan State. Michigan State had a good game last week, played very well. But listen, I don't think Georgia will be in the top 4 playoff teams, but give it about a year or so. Next season, my boys will be there. They will be there. This season, not this season. Next season, look out for. I'm gonna give you a couple names to look out for. Philly product. This kid went to St. Joe's Prep. Have you ever heard of St. Joe's Prep?
Yeah, I've heard of St. Joe's Prep.
Well, right there in North Philadelphia, running back DeAndre Swift. This kid is a freshman. He's already getting time ahead of Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb too. He's a great running back.
So we got some running backs to look for.
Yes, you do have some running backs to look for. But my Bulldogs, man, I believe next season we're going to be able to do something. This is still a young team. They have a freshman running back in DeAndre Swift. They still have a freshman quarterback. from I don't even know how to say his last name.
I get your point. The Bulldogs are very young right now.
Yes, and don't and they're ranked. I want to say 11th. They're ranked 11th, and we played ranked. They're ranked 11th, and we played Mississippi State, who are ranked 17th, I believe. So I believe one of our top testers will be against them. I'm excited. I know we're gonna take them down, so there's nothing to worry about. Next week when we come on after they take them down, I'm gonna talk my crap. But since you had to throw out Clemson, I have to throw out Georgia.
I respect it.
Now we're gonna move on. Now we're gonna move on to another topic that has been very touchable, argumentative, and que sera sera. Kyrie Irving. I know we talked about him. I believe it was our first podcast. We talked about him. How do you think? How far do you think the Celtics will make it now with this new backcourt duo of Kyrie Irving and Hayward?
Well, Hayward's gonna probably.
Well, he's more of a forward. He's more of a forward.
But I get your point. They have like a nice little duo, and then you add Al Horford in there. I have them ahead of the Wizards. Sorry, John Wall fans. I have the Celtics making it in the second Eastern Conference Finals, losing to the Cavs like they were last year. Only because it takes some time for players to mesh well together, and it all depends on how Kyrie Irving plays. Because Kyrie Irving right now is up for the challenge. He isn't scared. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt right now. I'll let him go to the Eastern Conference Finals. But if he takes that next step, like he says he will, I wouldn't be surprised if they surpassed the Cavs and went to the finals.
Now I might just have to stop you dead in your tracks. As long as LeBron is in the East, there's nobody that's going to come out of the East besides LeBron. I'm just going to have to get that out there. But as far as the Celtics going far, I'm a little, I think I'm going to have to disagree with you to an extent where you said the Wizards the Celtics are better than the Wizards. And I'm just going to have to date back to when we both had this argument about who won the trade. Now, this is why I believe the Celtics lost the trade. It's not due to the players that they gave up or the players they received. It's to the fact that who do they now have to defend on the defensive end? Because Kyrie Irving, we know, cannot defend anybody. Al Horford, he's soft. Gordon Hayward, he can't guard past the perimeter. Those are 3 players right there. Now, who are you going to have to defend John Wall past the perimeter? Who are you going to have to guard Bradley Beal? Or the Morris, or one of the Morris twins, Markieff?
Celtics also added Markieff's brother.
Marcus?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another like low profile addition that they added. Good role player.
I believe he's not. He's really not nothing special. He's, like you said, he's a good role player.
I mean, I get your point. I'm more of we're just gonna wait and see what happens.
I totally agree.
I completely get your point. I get that. John Wall is clearly for what he's done for the Wizards, he's clearly the best point guard in the Eastern Conference. That's in my opinion. He does it all for the Wizards. Bradley Beal's nice and solid too. But I just have a problem with them in the postseason. They haven't proven anything yet. Like people continue to come up to me and say, why do you continue to give Kyrie more credit than John Wall? It's because Kyrie Irving's proven more in the postseason. Besides that Game 6 moment last year in the Eastern Conference semis, what happened in Game 7 when the Wizards needed John Wall the most?
He went ghost.
He was a ghost. I'm just keeping it honest. I'm not a John Wall
Call what
hater.
you see. I totally agree.
Talent-wise, he is the best point guard in the East. There should be no.
Totally agree.
There should be no
I believe
problems
he shot.
why
I believe he only took 4 shots. It was something like that because I know I brought it up in one of our podcasts. I can't remember off the top of my head.
There should be no excuses, like talent-wise, why the Wizards weren't in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. There's no excuses. Right. They were my opinion, I feel like they were the more talented team.
So going back to the our original topic, you believe the Celtics can take it to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yes, I believe that the Celtics can, only because Hayward is very underrated. You're going to see this year he's going to take those big steps forward. He was on a Utah Jazz team that was the best defensive team. Yes, they had Rudy Gobert, but Hayward was another reason why they were really good. And the reason why no one really talks about his defense is because he plays for the Jazz. No one really gets to see the Jazz like that televised. And when they do, it's usually a boring, low-scoring game. So people are not interested into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm telling you, Gordon Hayward is very underrated. He's going to take those big steps this year. He's very good. That's why I believe that they will make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and play the Cavs. And I believe, depending on how Kyrie plays, if Kyrie takes that big steps forward like he says, I think Kyrie Irving can be that key player that can elevate the Celtics. But if he plays how he usually does play, there's no way they're beating Cleveland. I'm going to have them in the same position as they were last year, losing 5 games, 5-6 games, if that. Cavs go to the finals. I think the Cavs will lose in 5-6 games.
Okay.
To the Warriors.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I don't see I see the Cavs making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't see them moving past that. Like I said earlier, when the topic first came upon, there's no team that's going to defeat LeBron in the East as long as he's here. As long as LeBron is in the East, there's no team that's going to defeat him.
Just give it a couple years.
And LeBron,
he's 34 right now.
You're right,
so.
and the thing is, LeBron still shows no sign of slowing down. He's showing no sign of it.
So did Kobe. And then all it literally takes is just one. I don't want to jinx anything, but all it takes is just one incident.
You're right, but that comes with the game. Yes.
I know it comes with the game.
But have we ever seen LeBron face that type of injury before in the past?
Oh, I know. And I get your point, but I'm just saying.
As long as you can take care of your body and LeBron does exactly that in the offseason. LeBron takes care of his body. He's constantly in the gym, working and working and working. Not saying that Kobe wasn't, but I just believe that if you look at the nature of these two people, Kobe and LeBron, and just look at their body, it just looks like LeBron takes a lot more care of his body than Kobe did. Now, I'm not saying, I'm going to repeat this again. I'm not saying Kobe did not take care of himself or any way, shape, or form. But when you just look at the stage, at the nature of both bodies, and just analyze both of their bodies.
Well, LeBron's also a lot taller than Kobe, and they also play two different.
Yeah, I mean,
positions.
they play two different positions. I'm just going off of body. I'm not going off of what they do or anything like height or anything like that. LeBron just looks like he takes more care of his body than what Kobe did.
I agree.
It just looks like LeBron doesn't know how to eat bad food. He just looks like he only knows healthy food, turkey burgers, whatever the case may be. And that just goes back to the point where I just don't see LeBron slowing down anytime soon. I give it about another 3 years before you can actually start to see the decline in his play. So for the next 3 years, as long as LeBron's in the East, I don't see any team surpassing LeBron in the East to the finals. I don't care if it's the Celtics.
I honestly think.
I don't even care if it's the Sixers.
I honestly think I'll give him the finals berth this year, but I think starting the following year, it's going to be a lot tougher for LeBron and the Cavs to. Well, let me rephrase. LeBron's also going to be a free agent in the 2018 season, so I think this is his last year in Cleveland. So this is probably going to be it for him. So I'm not going to get on to that point because he's probably going to leave Cleveland in the free agency.
But that's just a whole different.
That's just another thing.
That's just something that's just going to come later on in the future.
But anything else you want to talk about with basketball? I did get an ESPN report during class.
Hold on, before you talk about the Joe Embiid topic.
Okay.
How far do you think Kyrie can win without LeBron?
I'm gonna believe his word. I believe he can. It's gonna take. I may sound crazy because people are gonna put in their stats like when Kyrie wasn't with LeBron.
No.
Like I get that.
Forget about the stats. Forget about all of that.
I think he can.
We're going to block everybody out.
I think this is
You believe he can win.
I think this is a new beginning to his career.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that he's always looked forward to.
Mm-hmm.
When LeBron wasn't there in the beginning, he was a 19-year-old kid.
He was still developing.
He's still developing. LeBron comes, Kyrie develops his game as a sidekick role. Now Kyrie wants to develop his game even more into as the man. Now the difference is, though, instead of 19, he's 25, 26 right now. He's had experience in the NBA. I believe he's going to take that next step forward. I firmly believe he's going to.
Well, on the opposite hand, the thing that kills me is I really want to know what was the real reason Kyrie wanted to leave. If Kyrie doesn't leave, he's guaranteed to go to the finals this season, next season, the following season, and the season after that. Because if he stays, LeBron stays.
I think the reason why
But
he's left.
But see, the thing that hold on, I don't mean to
didn't-
cut you off.
He's tired of
Go
being
ahead.
a sidekick. He wants to be the man.
Right, but I
which
mean,
is completely
thinking back,
understandable.
go ahead. Thinking back, I almost just contradicted myself. That's if LeBron stays in Cleveland. Because I remember in previous podcasts, I did say I don't believe LeBron is going to stay for the reason of his relationship with the owner.
Yeah.
But that's if LeBron, I just got to clarify myself. If Kyrie this trade never happened and Kyrie stayed and LeBron stayed, these two would have continued to go to championships. Not saying they would have won, but if you think about it, who doesn't like to go to the championship?
I know.
And I believe
But-
Kyrie shot himself in the foot with asking for this trade.
You can say that he
And-
shot his foot, but
And hold on.
My fault.
I
I'll
don't
let
mean to
you
cut you off.
finish. Let you finish.
When LeBron was down and out and didn't play, or he was getting his rest, at that point, Kyrie was the man. What did he do as being the man?
I get your point. You can throw all that with me. You can throw all that stats at me. But Kyrie, look at it this way. You've already won a championship in Cleveland. You've already been to 3 finals as the sidekick. You want something new. You want something exciting. You want a new challenge.
Yeah, I totally
It
get
gets
what you're
old
saying.
being
You want to be the man.
It gets old being the sidekick for forever and ever. You don't always want to be the sidekick. I mean, I get it. Like Pippen did it. That's fine. But Kyrie also is more of a competitor. If he wants to take on the challenge, he doesn't want to be the sidekick anymore, which is fine. I mean, you can say it's crazy that, yeah, he left LeBron, but at the end of the day, when he was with LeBron, you can't say that they weren't successful.
No, they
went to
were
3
successful.
straight finals. They even won a ring. Like that's the difference. I think if he didn't get a ring, I feel like he would still be with the Cavs right now. But winning that championship, going to 3 straight NBA finals, I think he just wants a change. That's all he wants. He's like, I already got my ring. Cleveland's happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna be loved in Cleveland no matter what I do. So he wanted to make a change of scenery. He wants to be the guy. I can't blame him for it.
No, I
It's
completely,
crazy you're
I
leaving
completely
LeBron
agree.
James. I get it.
Completely agree.
LeBron fans, I know they're all mad. So what? Kyrie wanted to leave.
Completely agree. At that point,
Now-
yes, I believe. But I truly believe though, him hitting that big shot in the finals did something. It did something to his own self.
Yeah, it gave him more confidence in himself.
Exactly. It gave him more confidence. As in, look, I have LeBron, the best player in the world. But did you just see what I just did though? I just pretty much won LeBron his 3rd ring.
Yeah, he's had
And-
moments in the postseason where like, yeah, LeBron carried the team, but there's points where LeBron couldn't do it all, and Kyrie was right there. Kyrie also, like, people talk about LeBron's historic Game 5 performance. Kyrie dropped 41 that same game too. So,
No,
like,
I mean, yeah, I completely agree. But see, this is where I
want
gotta
you-
go back.
All right, think of it this way.
No, I get what you. Hold
You're a
on.
Boston Celtics fan.
Go ahead.
Would you rather have your new guy come in, talk with confidence about himself, how he wants to elevate his game, or do you rather him be quiet and not confident at all? I think
I get what you're saying.
I would rather have my star player come in, have confidence in himself with his game, than come in not confident. Because I think the reason why people are talking about him so much is because he had that press conference. He explained why he wanted to leave Cleveland. People are like, why do you want to leave LeBron? Why this? Why? How can you leave him? It's because he has confidence in himself. He wants to leave. He wants to be the guy.
Right. And that's the type of player I want on my team. I completely get what you're saying. I completely agree 100%. The confidence, the swagger, the game, he has it all. But what he doesn't have is a successful record being the man. That's one thing he does not have. And people are going to say, well, he had LeBron. Like you said, he was the sidekick. You got to see a glimpse when LeBron was not playing of him being the man. It was not a successful or pretty record at all. He has it all. He has the talent. He has the skill set. He's a 3-level scorer. One of the best guards in the league. Successful at what he does. Confidence. The swag. But what he doesn't, he has a ring. He has success in the playoffs. Those last two, though, come to being a sidekick of LeBron. The one thing he doesn't have, though, I'm going to say it again, is that successfulness. The success of winning, being the man. Until he can prove me wrong. Now, that last thing that I said, everything else is, besides the ring and, being successful in the playoffs and having those big game moments, that's all facts. And the other fact is that he's not successful being the man. That's another fact. Everything else is opinionated. So, we just can't continue to go off of opinions. Because at the end of the day, opinions are just what we believe, and also what we see. Definite. And facts are the definite truth. So I'm going to stick to the facts on this one. He's not successful being the man. And until he can prove me wrong and prove the rest of this world wrong that he can be successful being the man, okay, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
Maybe I can, but maybe at that point I'll have more belief in him that he can win. But as far as him being the man, I don't see it being successful. I don't.
Okay. I respect it. Now, do you want to move on to our weekly NFL predictions?
Yes, okay. We are.
So here we go. This is going to be 5 minutes, rapid fire. Me and Dante have been thinking about this over the course of a couple of days. We think that we can end our last 5 minutes of every podcast with predictions. So, are you on the clock? You ready? Got the clock started?
Hold on. I need to pull up the games.
All right.
Now.
Real quick, I'll let you pull up the games.
Sorry.
And I'm about to pull up the clock.
All right, here we are. We got him.
We are on. Here we go. Thursday Night Football. You got the L.A. Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. Who you got, Dante?
Give me the L.A. Rams on the road.
I completely agree. I got the Rams not killing, but I have the Rams winning against the 49ers. It's either going to be a close defensive battle or it's going to be one-sided. Next, we have a game in London, Sunday at 9:30 a.m. The Baltimore Ravens will play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who you got, Dante?
I'm going to go with the Be More Ravens, baby.
I got with the Baltimore Ravens as well. Their defense has been outstanding the first 2 weeks. Next, we have the Denver Broncos taking a trip to Buffalo to play the Buffalo Bills. Who do you have, Dante? Again,
this is an easy one for me. Give me the Denver Broncos.
Again, I completely agree with you. I got the Denver Broncos. The Bills just do not have enough on offense right now. Next, you have the New Orleans Saints taking a trip to Carolina to play the Carolina Panthers. Who do you got, Dante?
This is going to be a shocker. Give me the New Orleans Saints on the road.
I disagree with you on this one. I think that Panthers defense is going to prove something this week. Mm-hmm. And I think that Cam Newton will just get enough offense in, and the Panthers will win in the final seconds. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers playing in Chicago to take on the Chicago Bears. Who do you got?
Easy pick. I'm rolling with the Steelers and Big Ben with that quad. What is it? The triple B?
Yep, triple B.
I'm rolling with the triple B.
Same. I completely agree with you. I got the Steelers winning the Bear at Chicago. Very
Wait,
easy.
No, I'm lying. It's the quadruple B.
Quadruple B because
Ben, Bell, Bryant, Brown. Yep. Give me that triple B. Oh, the quadruple B. I'm sorry.
Next, we got the Atlanta Falcons taking a trip to Detroit to play the Detroit Lions. Who do you got?
and still undefeated. I'm taking the Falcons on the road.
Taking the Falcons on
Taking
the road?
the Falcons on the road. I believe the Lions really haven't. The Lions defense really hasn't faced enough offensive talent. They haven't faced the Julio Jones yet. They haven't faced a running game as elite as the Falcons right now.
I agree.
So an elite passer right now in Matt Ryan. So I'm rolling with the Falcons on the road.
I agree. I have the Atlanta Falcons winning. The problem with Detroit is they just cannot put players away. Teams away.
Okay.
And I just think there's going to be a problem. I feel like they're going to have a lead, but then they're not going to put Atlanta away. Atlanta's going to come back.
Alrighty.
Anyway, next we got a pair of 2 0-2 teams. The Cleveland Browns take a trip to Indianapolis to take on the Andrew Luck-less Colts. I got the Cleveland Browns winning this one. First win of the year. I don't have faith in the Colts right now. When you lose Andrew Luck, it don't matter who it is. Yeah, they played the Cardinals tough, but I just don't believe in the Colts right now. I think it's a rebuild mode for them.
All right, well, this one I'm going to disagree with you with. I have the Colts at home. I do like Jacoby Brissett. He has a nice, good connection with Jack Doyle going on a little bit there. I believe that if the Lions can just pull through for just one game, Frank Gore will have a good game, and hopefully he can get something. Jacoby Brissett can definitely link on with these wide receivers he has on the side now with T.Y. and Dante Moncrief.
All right, next. Here we go. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking a trip to the Minnesota Vikings. Who do you got?
This is going to be a tough one. I believe if Sam Bradford is playing, I'm taking the Vikings. But if they're Sam Bradfordless, I'm taking the Bucs.
I completely agree with you. They are at home, so I will have Minnesota if Sam Bradford plays. I'm going to double-check that. We'll double-check that as the week progresses. Next, you have the Houston Texans taking a trip to New England to play Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. I'm going to go with the Patriots in this one. Deshaun Watson is my favorite rookie quarterback. As you guys can tell, I'm a big Clemson guy. I love Deshaun Watson, but I just think they just don't have enough on offense right now. And he's still learning the game. So I just think the Patriots will win. Quick fact before you make your prediction, the Patriots against rookie quarterbacks, the rookie quarterback's record is 2-8 against the Patriots.
Okay.
So just throw that quick stat out there.
Well, I'm going to completely agree with you on this one. I'm definitely taking New England at home. Tom Brady definitely had a bounce back week, and Tom Brady doesn't take losing too lightly, and I still believe he's not over that week 1 loss. So I'm definitely going to take the Patriots to steamroll the Texans.
Okay. Next week, we got not next week, my fault. My apologies. We got the Miami Dolphins taking on the New York Jets. I got the Dolphins in this one easy.
Definitely got the Dolphins in the game as well.
Next, you got the NFC East showdown. You got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Giants. Who do you got, Dante?
To wrap up the 1 o'clock games, I'm definitely going with the hometown Eagles. I believe we're going to take the Giants to an 0-3 record. The Philly, they take this W. Even if the Redskins and Cowboys do take home a W, the Eagles will stay in first place for the simple fact they're 2-0 in the division.
Yep, I completely agree. I got the Birds on this one. Next, you got the Seattle Seahawks taking a trip to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Who do you got?
Now Russell Wilson's my favorite player, but the Seahawks need a lot of help right now. They need help at the line. They need help in that run game. And the Seahawks are just not a good first half team. Well, first half of the season team. So I'm rolling with the Tennessee Titans on this one.
I agree. I got the Titans in this one only because Seattle, they have looked awful on the offensive end. So I have the Tennessee Titans winning. Next week, not next week, my fault. Is this going to be the primetime game? Cincinnati Bengals take on the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. I have the Green Bay Packers in this one. I feel like the offensive struggles will continue for the Bengals.
I completely agree. No, I agree and disagree. I'm taking the Packers at home, but I believe this is the week they fired their offensive coordinator. The Bengals I believe the AJ Green, Andy Dalton connection is going to come back to life a little bit this week. So I'm taking the Packers, but I definitely do expect to see something we haven't seen in the last 2 weeks out of the Bengals.
Okay. The next game we have is the Kansas City Chiefs take a trip to Los Angeles to take on the Clippers. Not Clippers.
The Chargers.
Oh, my gosh. The Chargers. What's going on with me? Oh, man. The Chargers have lost back-to-back weeks on a field goal. I'm going to have a shocker this week. I think the Chargers are going to take that step and beat the Chiefs. I feel like they're tired of – it's going to be another close game. And I just think that their kicker's finally going to get the confidence and kick the game-winning field goal this time. They can't go 0-3 with 3 straight missed field goals to end the game. I'm sorry. So what do you got?
Well, this is a hard one because I definitely do like Kansas City. But I do not see the Chargers falling to 0-3. So I agree. I'm taking the Chargers with you in this game. I'm going to roll on with Melvin Gordon. Keenan Allen's come back healthy and is playing very well. Hunter Henry's playing very well. He had a good game last week. And Antonio Gates is now the tight end leader in receiving touchdowns.
Yep, he passed Tony Gonzalez last week.
Yep.
Next, Sunday night prime time, the Oakland Raiders take a trip to Washington to play the Washington Redskins. Again, I got to go with the Raiders, man. Ever since they got lost Marshawn Lynch, they just have an extra step to their team. And I have Oakland winning this in a very convincing game.
Yeah, well, I agree with you on this one. I am rolling high with the Raiders on this game. The
right.
AC-DC connection.
With 10 seconds remaining, Monday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys take on the Arizona Cardinals. I got the Dallas Cowboys in this one. I feel like they're going to bounce back. Losing Johnson is going to really hurt the Cardinals' offense, and I just don't believe in Carson Palmer anymore.
Okay, well, on this one, I'm going to disagree with you. As we seen last week, that elite Broncos defense and that elite secondary put a stop to the Dallas Cowboys. I believe the Arizonas went back and watched film on that, as they have an elite defense as well, I believe, with an elite secondary as well. Stack the box with 8. You leave your 3 defensive backs on the island out there. Definitely made it happen. The Broncos definitely made it happen this week. I believe the Cardinals can make it happen again this week. And I believe that Dallas secondary is just no good to me right now. They're still young. They're still trying to grow and develop as a unit. And I don't see that coming together yet this week against Arizona. So I'm going to definitely see Carson Palmer take advantage of that. And I'm going to take the Cardinals at home primetime game on a Monday night.
All right. And that wraps up our NFL Week 3 predictions. Anything else? Any concluding statements before we wrap up tonight?
No, I don't have anything else to say. What about you?
I'm pretty much done, man. We had a long day today. Ended it off right. And again, check us out on swooppodcast.com for the latest news, blogs, stuff like that. And this is Josh and Dante signing off.
Swoop!
Swoop!